we thought it was important to come here to see all of you, to be present, to stand with all of you, and to make sure that you know that City Hall stands with all of you against the hate that we've seen in this city, not only just over the past week or so, but we know we've seen too many incidents like this throughout the city, throughout this country, and we truly respect all of you for taking a stand against it. And again, we stand here with you.
I've been sent to the border to help with the ongoing conflicts there, right? And these people are dying to come to America. And whenever I ask, why are you trying to come here? It's for an education. We have international students coming here for an education, not for more conflict. Right. They're escaping their conflict zones. And you're in a position to lead right now, and we need you to lead, right? We know politics is politics, but on the human grassroots level, we do need you to lead. Whether it's creating scholarship opportunities for student leaders who are pushing the initiative right now, that's important. Because we have seniors with debt who are still here, who are doing class, staying here overnight, going to class, coming back here. And it's not easy, and it's not free. So we do need opportunities, whether it's student jobs, student initiative scholarship opportunities that your office is able to create. Yeah. And this is a grassroots thing, but it is also university-wide, right? We represent thousands of students, not just the 100 you might see here. So we do need your help. Yeah. And it's not just a political standpoint. We need actual guidance. Yep. We need actual leadership.
Thank you. Thank you for your statement and for your service. I want to touch on a few things that you said there. First, in terms of students coming, whether they're coming from across the southern border or any border, we pride ourselves on being a welcoming city to all people. We have a vision in the city of Syracuse. Our vision is for Syracuse to be a growing city that embraces diversity and creates opportunity for all. That is our North Star. That's what guides us, and the actions that we've seen recently are completely contradictory to that vision, and that is why we stand against them. In terms of ensuring that, again, getting back to that vision in your statement, that there is indeed opportunity for all, not for some, but for all, we are working every day to make sure that that happens in all of the work we do, from our efforts to attract high-tech manufacturers to working with people re-entering the workforce post-incarceration. We want opportunities to be for everyone. Specific to the student population, thanks to the support of Council President and her colleagues at the Council, we just approved a new work-study program with the university where we'll be bringing students to work down in City Hall with us. Every summer we also have interns coming from not just Syracuse University, but throughout the community. We over the past summer were able to bring in over 1,000 interns, youth employees from the neighborhoods in the city of Syracuse to the campuses, and we believe that that is how we will begin to connect those dots and ensure that there is opportunity for all. But I hear you loud and clear, and we are always open to new and different ideas as to how we can make sure that we're living up to and staying true to our vision.
Any other questions? I have a question. So I don't even need it, but I'm locally, so I'm from Syracuse. Right. I just want you to tell everybody here, because they're not from here, how they could reach out, how they could come out to the Syracuse community, how to get involved.
Yeah, well, we're here because we're all part of the same community. I know sometimes it doesn't feel like that, but I look at you all the same way I look at anyone else in any other part of our city. You are here in our community. We want you to be a part of our community, to come off of the campus, to come off of the Hill, and we will welcome you with open arms. There's a lot of ways you can do it. I think one of the most important ways is just to be engaged, to be informed. You all have done a great job at getting your message out there. We see it in local media, it's in national media. Continue to be engaged and informed citizens, whether you're here or anywhere else. Pay attention to the work that we're doing down in City Hall. Encourage us when we're getting it right. Hold us accountable when we're getting it wrong. And there are a lot of ways you can get involved. As I said, you can. We have internship programs. We have youth employment programs. There are many amazing organizations. We just, Sharon, Helen, and I just left an event for Urban Delights, which is a program of Jubilee Homes that has a urban garden down on the southwest side that grows fruits and vegetables and employs young people. There's so many wonderful organizations here looking for help, whether it's in the form of a volunteer, a board member. I know many of you have your plates overflowing right now with the work that you're doing up here, but any way in which you can engage and be a part of our community, we welcome it, because again, we see you as an integral part of our community.
Hi, as an ally, if you would call yourself an ally, what can you do personally to help this movement and the community? What resources can you put forward to help this and publicize our message and our goals?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks. I do consider myself an ally. I hope you all consider me an ally. I want to be an ally, and I encourage you all to help me understand how I can be. The ways in which I've tried to do it so far, I have been in touch with the leadership of the university, including Chancellor Severud. I have maintained an open line of communication. I've offered the resources of the city to be helpful, and the Chancellor has been very good at being responsive and also ensuring that he's doing everything he can to be responsive. So we've talked with him. We have the Syracuse Police Department is very much involved in hoping to get an update from Chief Buckner soon. But they reached out to me as soon as they came across the swastika down on Walnut. One of the first calls I made was to Rabbi Feldman at Temple Concord, talked to him, talked to others in the community, and made sure that I, as quickly as I could, put out a statement condemning it for what it was, a vile and truly an evil act, and something that we will not stand for in this city, and you all clearly will not stand for in this on this campus. So those are the ways: maintaining an open line of communication with the leadership, maintaining an open line of communication with the students. I know some of the individuals that are here, and we've stayed in touch with them and tried to make sure that the message is consistent from this room to the mayor's office to the council chambers, that we will not stand for this. Always open, with that said, for other ways in which we can be an ally and be supportive.
Hi, my name is Sharon. I'm the deputy mayor here. I'm SU alum, class of 1985. Most of you might not have been born. Which what you're feeling here on this campus right now, I felt on the campus when I was here in the 1980s. So you have to continue to not stand for racism, bigotry, all of it. It is not okay for people in the cloak of night, and whether it be on blogs or whether it be with aliases, to say just reprehensible and racist things. And so I'm proud to be an SU alum. I'm proud of you taking a stand. Know that we are with you. It just doesn't happen on the Hill. It's going on all over this country. The best way that you can fight this disease is to register and vote. Make sure you are registered and you vote. Because we have to vote this virus out of every level of government. Thank you all, and take care of yourselves.
I'll start right here. Keep continuing to fight, but we have to take the fight and we have to continue moving outward, because it's not isolated. So please understand that. But we cannot tolerate, and I mean, I'm a 60s baby. So I was in the cars traveling through the South when we would get pulled over and drugged through woods. I was in the car, I was in the back seat, okay, as a child. So we're still at this point that we have to beat it back. Yeah. And the only way we can beat it back is we have to stand. You have to continue to do what you're doing. You have to continue protesting wrong, because it is wrong. We won't stand for wrong, and we will all fight together. But as the mayor and the deputy mayor said, it's not just isolated here. I deal with it out there too. So we're fighting it on all fronts. But what do they say? Together we're stronger. So let's stick together, let's stay stronger, and let's fight it back.
Hi, I had a question. Have you seen our demands, and do you agree with them? And also, if you have this open communication with the chancellor, where is he on those demands? And what are you doing to make him accept the demands?
Thank you. Yeah. So I have not looked at all of the demands. I saw initially when some of them came out and they all appeared to be completely reasonable to me. I understand that they have been updated, and so I will look at them. I don't anticipate seeing anything that I'm going to have an issue with. As for my relationship and my communication with the chancellor, I'm certainly not going to speak for him, and he's engaged on a much different level than I am up here on this campus. But I want you to know, when I spoke with him, that I felt in his voice and in his heart, and I've gotten to know him pretty well, that he is as troubled as we are about what's happened here. So I won't speak for him as it relates to his relationship with you all, but I will say that I believe he's a good man with a good heart who's trying to do the right thing. And I think Council President made the point that we are stronger when we fight together, and that means across all fronts, from students to administration to government to private sector. So I would encourage you, as you stand strong for what you believe in, and I would never suggest anything otherwise, to try to use this opportunity and use the relationship and the communication that you're having with the administration to bring them on as an ally, which will only make you stronger in fighting this. So I would encourage you to keep that line of communication open, and I will certainly do the same with everyone else. Again, I have the demands. I will take a look at them. I believe strongly that you all are doing this for the right reasons, and as long as these reflect that, we're going to stand right here with you. Thank you.
Hi, I was just wondering two things. One, what would you say is the most valuable lesson we can learn today? And afterwards, is it okay if I shake your hand?
Absolutely. Happy to shake all of your hands, hugs, whatever's appropriate. I don't want to sound like a parent, but or to minimize at all what you all are doing. But we really are proud. It's not every day that you see people, especially your age, and I don't think I was anywhere near the level that you all are at in terms of your consciousness, your engagement, and I truly admire it, and I'm proud of it. I think that hopefully what you all are learning, and I think it's hard for me to say, I think all of you are having your own personal experience here, and all of you view the world through a different lens, and I think that it's important to understand each other's lenses, and I suspect that you're all going to take something a little bit different away from this, but I think that as I stand here, the fact is, you have the leadership of the city of Syracuse here in this room with you. You have the attention of not just the city of Syracuse, but you have the attention of people across the country and presumably across the world. So I hope that it's, if nothing else, a lesson learned that when you do stand up and you do make your voice heard, you can make change, and that is what this country is founded on. And sometimes I think we lose sight of that. Just because it is the status quo, or just because it's always been that way, doesn't mean it's the way it should be. And the fact that you all are here demanding change and saying the status quo is not acceptable, that's the only way we move forward. So I encourage you to all self-reflect and think about your lessons learned, but I think there's a lot to be learned in this room, not only for all of you, but for us as well.
So we all know that Syracuse is a very diverse city, just ethnically, socially, economically. But consistently I've seen not only Syracuse's DPS, but also Syracuse's police enforcement treat people of color and people of ethnicity differently than they do me, which is a shame. And I'm curious if you know, does Syracuse Police, do they have to go through a diversity and bias training in there?
Yeah. If either of my colleagues want to chime in, I will say that there is diversity and inclusion training that does take place in the police department, at least early on in the academy. We've been having ongoing conversations with Chief Buckner about ongoing training opportunities for the department. In many ways, we brought Chief Buckner on to address head-on some of those issues that, again, aren't unique to the Syracuse Police Department, are happening across this country, but that doesn't make them right. In fact, they're incredibly wrong, and we've worked very hard to address some of these injustices. If you look at what Chief Buckner has done since he's come in, he's updated our use of force policy. He's implemented a number of other policy changes to try to begin to chip away at some of that bias. So, but it's an ongoing challenge. Frankly, I have to check my bias and I have to check my privilege as I look at different situations and as I look at different issues. So it has to be constant growth. But again, a big reason why Chief Buckner is here is to look at that department through a different lens and to try to bring that department along as we evolve as a society. I don't, Sharon, Helen, either of you want to.
So my portfolio of responsibility for the City Hall includes our neighborhood, housing, how people live, and the businesses that are in the city, as well as the police and the fire department. So, I may not be a tall woman in stature, but I'm tough as hell. And so, Chief Buckner, we searched for a year to find a chief that we can begin to change the dynamic of the culture in the police department. Any mountain that you're trying to move, and what you're dealing with right now on this campus is another mountain. Takes time to chip away at it, but chipping away at it. A river runs through a gorge and it becomes larger and bigger because it's constantly chipping away at the issues that we want to address. The use of force policy was changed. It had not been changed in over 25 years, and it was changed this year. There are diversity training. He's going outside of this community to find diversity training because we need to hear from voices outside of this community about diversity training. We also are proactively looking at how we can diversify the police force so that the police force is more representative of individuals who live in this community. We want people to know that if you're interested in serving on the Syracuse Police Department, find me. Call me down at City Hall and I'll help you find out how you can go through the process. We're looking to, even within that process, we're embedded biases that kept people that look like me and Helen out, that we're trying to get rid of through Chief Buckner. So those little nuances, because you know a felon. I got felons at my cookouts every summer. They call family. So that rule is crazy. So we're chipping away at it. Many times because people don't see the rooms that we're in, we're turning over tables every day. Yeah. But we have to strategically do it. There's times to turn over tables and pump our fists and bring out torches, and there's time to get to the table. And be very strategic about what you're asking for and how you can get the outcomes you're looking for. What we're doing at the police department may not be fast enough for people, but it is affecting change strategically.
Yeah. And then I just want to add something. As Deputy Mayor said, it may not be happening fast enough, but just remember, know your allies. Know who your allies are, because we have a bad habit of attacking our allies, and you don't want to turn your ally into an adversary. That becomes a problem. And then Deputy Mayor said what I was going to say about the police department. Who better to police our own communities than us? So why wouldn't we want to be police officers? See, that's been the problem. We don't want to be police. But who better to police our communities than us, okay? And not to mention, it's probably one of the only pension jobs left in the world. So, if you want to be a police officer, reach out to Deputy Mayor Owens, because that's the only way we're going to change the dynamics if we're a part of all of this process.
448-8005.
So I have a question from somebody on our Instagram Live. This person wants to know, are you aware that a 5th incident has happened? And in case you're not, I did want to read the DPS report that just went out, and for anybody else who doesn't know what happened. The Department of Public Safety is currently at Haven Hall investigating a report of racist graffiti. The graffiti contained racist language that is derogatory to Asian individuals. There is no additional information available, nor is there a suspect at this time.
Not traced.
It just happened.
Somebody had just sent me right before we walked in that advisory, and that's why we're here. Don't let it distract you. You know why you're here, and you know we're going to see him again. So we just need to keep fighting the fight. And I just want to again just say how sorry I am that all of us have to deal with this in this day and age in this community. It goes against everything that this community represents. So don't let it distract you.
Hi, so in talking about Syracuse police, how can, now that there have been incidents that are likely related to the university but not on university grounds, how are you all using the police force to ensure our safety and the safety of people of color on this campus in ways that perhaps DPS cannot? Are there specific initiatives that you're using right now, and how can we ensure the safety of everyone here?
So I want to make sure that I get you the best answer I can as I stand here right now, not being involved in the day-to-day operations of the police department and of the investigations. I don't know that I can say definitively everything that the police department is doing. So allow us to provide some additional information once we have a chance to talk to the police department. I know Chief Buckner has been asked to speak with all of you. He's been out of town. Not sure exactly when he's coming back, but I know he has expressed a willingness to come and to talk with all of you if that's something that you're interested in. But I do know that he is in regular contact with DPS and with Chief Maldonado. They have been working together, the department and DPS, for a long time. I have encouraged the chief to deploy any resources necessary to make sure that not only that we're doing everything we can to investigate these incidents and hold people accountable for them, but also to make sure that people feel safe. But once I get some more information, I'll see if I can share that to hopefully make you feel better. Deputy Mayor, remind me, we're also working with the state police, and obviously the governor was in town this past week and expressed his strong feelings about this as well.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I just want to recognize this is unceded Onondaga land. And I want to recognize also that Syracuse is the city that holds the highest concentration of poverty among Black and Latinx folks. And so when we're talking about police involvement and when we're talking about what the police force does, I want us to also recognize when we're thinking about bias, that bias is already intrinsically a part of what is happening. When police forces are pushing, when cities are pushing and gentrifying people of color, predominantly Black, Indigenous, and Latinx communities into these spaces where they're already heavily policed regardless of what biases exist. So when we're talking about police, I want us to also think about this as a carceral state issue, and when we're thinking about that, we're thinking about abolitionism, right? And so then what does this mean? What does this mean when we're looking at what is happening here at Syracuse University? These issues of hate, of hate speech, of hate crimes that are occurring. They are not isolated incidents, right? They are related to the fact that we are on stolen, occupied land, and we are on land that has been continues to be used and utilized by black bodies stolen from Africa, right? And so these are things that are continuing and perpetuating. So these hate that we're seeing, they are definitely vile, horrifying things that are going on.
Now remember, I told you that I have oversight over the police department. I have a 19-year-old, 6'2" in the spectrum young man. That the dilemma that I feel as he begins to learn and understand his independence is never leave the house without your ID. I give him the same, and I'm over the police department, the same speech that my mother gave my brother about what you do and how you act, how you interact. I'm trying to make change on the inside, but as a mother, I need to make sure I instruct my son. I want to see more individuals like him on the police force. I'm unapologetic about that statement. That look like him, that look like me, that look like other people of color, and speak. We have in our district over 80 languages. I need some of those on the police force. And as I begin to try to make change on the inside with all these great people that work with me, to begin to move that mountain, it becomes a little bit easier for me if I have people on that force that come from my experience, that come from Helen's experience, that comes from the generation that the mayor comes from, who is not the intrinsic generation. So I'm unapologetic about asking for brown people to be on the police force. And again, my phone number is 448-8005.
Hello. I just want to say first and foremost that I don't have a question. I'm gonna keep it real with you, like all of you guys. Like I just appreciate all of you. This was the most genuine energy we've ever experienced. I'm emotional because I'm angry that I feel that way. I shouldn't feel that way. The fact that I have to say this is crazy. But like, just thank you for like feeling that.
And you should feel that way, baby. And I'm just gonna go back because something that was said, you know, you should feel that way. And I'm really tired, and I know we need allies, okay? But I am a black mother with a black son that's been beat by the police. But I have other folks trying to tell me about my experience and what I shouldn't say or do. Yeah, I want to see my kids out there patrolling their own community.
That's right.
Yes, I do. Because guess what? Then maybe my son won't be beat down, and I get the phone call that they done beat him up. So while people make broad statements, I'm live experience, and I live it every day. I've been living it for 60 years. And when we talk about the concentrated poverty, we're working really hard on that because I'm part of the Empire State Poverty Reduction Initiative. I know it, I live in it, been living in it for a while. So again, I think some of our allies need to check themselves before you make a statement about people that's been living it.
Any other questions? Because I think we have to go.
Thank you, babies. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to let you know, so I'm actually chair of the Brunswick County Democratic Party down in North Carolina, and we see events like that have happened here happen all the time. It's standard protocol. So you being here, you being in the space, the Syracuse community is counting on you. Being an ally is an earned status. You can come here and say you're an ally. You said you've already got in touch with the administrative staff. You said you're in touch with the chancellor. We're counting on you, and the Syracuse community is counting on you to maintain that relationship and to hold them accountable. And I encourage you to sit down and read our demands and to make sure that you'll